Ooh, excuse me. Hello. The first 6 seconds of the video spent in a yawn. Cacabiel and Remiel. Ooh. Angel of the Stars and Angel of Visions. I'm using the Angelarium Year 2 collection today. I've been wanting to use the Angel Tarot and the Occult Tarot. Almost in the Angel Tarot, I almost grabbed it. I got these today. And I'm like I'm occupying more of the screen than I'm used to. And I don't know how I feel about it, if I'm being honest. But anyway, so I went on a chalk yesterday and the audio quality was horrible. I listened back to some of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And there were the two angels. I guess I could pull two angels. Why not? And then I went on a whole talking about Akinar, talking about the Anana to Ishtar. And then it was a while ago that energy of being in the underworld, but not being a denizen of that domain. Like a visitor's pass. You're on visa and the visa expired. So it's time to GTFO the underworld, right? And then earlier today, because I've been noticing, and it makes sense for my own personal life because I'm in this space of many things sort of coming together now that I'm finally receptive to past advice, now that I'm moving myself, now that I'm no longer allowing fear to keep me from doing things, and all kinds of fears and all kinds of this and all kinds of that, now that I'm actually moving. Matariel, Angel of Rain, Duma, Angel of Dreams. I had a dream last night that I saw a buddy I haven't seen since 2015. So almost a decade. And we were just hanging out. It was such a good dream. I was just spending time with a friend that I haven't seen in ages. Um, and then I woke up and I sent him a message. I was like, I just saw you in a dream last night. And then I saw another friend. We didn't get to spend as much time together. Then I had another dream that was weird. But I'm like, what does that mean? Anyway. Steph, how are you? I've been thinking about you a lot. Well, today and yesterday. So yesterday when I was on my chalk, I heard the birds, and then this morning I heard the birds, and now when I hear birds, I think of you. So, how are you? So I got back from the chalk, and it dawned on. Oh yeah, I was talking about how I'm in this phase of my life where many things are coming together as a new path, a new doorway, a new journey begins. Ananiel, Angel of Storms, and Turiel, Angel of the Mountain. Um, and it made me think of the Queen of Cups in the Dungeons and Dragons tarot. I might pull it, I might not. Obviously, not right now. I say obviously, but then I might. So I need to. I woke up earlier, a lot earlier than I anticipated today. So I'm going to set an alarm because I do have something to do today. And I want to give myself ample time to be in the right mindset. It's 3:38 p.m. in London, according to the world clock. Uh, we'll say 11. So that gives me an hour. Oh, today is Monday. I was at a hard connection. sunshine. I was like, I was supposed to do that. Hold on, wait. Oh, that's today. Okay. Oh, see, I did myself a favor in the past. I was going to set an alarm for 11 o'clock, and I have a 9:20 and I have a 1 o'clock. And I was like, I'll just change the 1 o'clock. And I'm looking at the 1 o'clock. I'm like, did I miss it? But when I made the alarm, I set it for every 2 weeks because I do it bi-weekly. So I already did myself a favor back then. So no, I didn't miss it. But I was freaking the freak out. How do I... There we go. Wait. Yeah. I did myself a favor. Oh, goodness. Oh, I'll just turn that alarm on just in case I forget. On a moment. There we go. Set it for like an hour and a half. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Oh. I get it. That's so relatable. I think there was a woodpecker yesterday because I could hear it like doing its thing. So it seems like it might be collective. Like I said, ever since I've been going through my Saturn return, it's like I don't know what's me and what's collective. I guess also too, maybe I've been more not self-centered and self-focused. I guess there are themes that I'll come across both like online and in person. Like I'll be talking to friends or my parents or my brother or my grandma or something. If I notice like many people sort of talking about the same general thing, then I'm like, okay, this is something that's like moving through the collective. But anyway, in that Queen of Cups, and I think it was a little bit in that one chalk. It was a little bit before that too. There was an energy of like how we can pick a path and learn a lesson and then basically return to center after we learn that lesson and then pick a different path and then a different path and a different path. Or if we stay in the center, then all of those lessons, all of those things that we need to know for whatever comes next will flow in towards the center and we'll sort of like learn all of them at once. And then she was sitting there and then like a gate opened and it was something that was like revealed in time or something like that. And usually she would be on this path or that path or who knows where, to the point where she wouldn't notice that in that space something actually opens for her to flow forward. And it feels like that is like now. It's like now is the time where all of these things are sort of coming together as the gate is opening, as something is opening for us to move forward. And then I'm pretty sure that was the same chalk where like the gate was open in the back, and then I think it's the one of the pages where there's like the girl and the tiger and maybe another character in front of the door and the door is opening. It's like that. Yeah. Do you want one of these? Because these are the cards I'm shuffling right now. Or do you want? Is that Duma Angel? No, it's Azazel Angel of Sacrifices. Let's see. I'll pull an Energy Oracle card. I'm working through the first drawer apparently. I was like, wow, not something opening up, and it's like I used to get the woozies. There was a hot minute I was getting the woozies all the time. I was like, "Ooh, a woozy." Not though. It's like if those are woozies, then the swoosh, the earth is shifting on its axis and everything is falling to the side. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh no. It's on the floor. It fell in almost slow motion too. I watched it. My eye was quick enough to see, but my hand was not quick enough to react. Oh, oh. The Thinking Woman. I picked it up in reverse, number 47. Ooh, cornucopia, number 11, 11, 11. 1147, I looked it up because I was seeing it all the time. 1147 means like you're on the right path or you're on the right track. Um, yeah, it first happened to me Saturday. Like I was on the treadmill in the gym, and then all of a sudden, I was like, it's a good thing I was holding on to the whatever things. It just like hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And even like, I think I was like laying in my bed last night and it came in. I was like, okay, this is not working well for my hair, but that's fine. 1147 is like you're on the right track. You're doing the right, you're making the choices and decisions that you, it's like your angels are confirming that because it's angel number 1147. That you're doing the right things, you're on the right track. Keep up the good work. Okay, I'll put this one back. Ooh, Angel of Balance, number 48, 47, 48. And then I see 49 popping up. 2049. Excuse me. Hey, Kirsty. Good morning or good afternoon. How are you today? For Seth. I know how I'm going to do this. All right, Steph. I'm going to cut the deck in half. Tell me left or right. No, you're a lobster. No. Excuse me. Oh, snap. We had meditation classes on campus, which is like an hour away. Oh, it was every Wednesday. It wasn't every other Wednesday. Because I have a buddy who just got a new place. Your left is receiving. So left. I was like, I could stay with him Wednesday night and go to meditation class. I love the meditation class so much. Okay, Steph. So we have the left one. I'm going to split this into 3 piles. Choose 1, 2, or 3. Excuse me. 3. All right. One of these cards, please. How many cards is it? Well, you said it's 6 cards. It's 6 cards, and my brain just said 7. I was like, that's not. I don't think that's how this works. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, lots of angels. Number 38, 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, came out in reverse. But the angel of strength is at the bottom of this little stack. Right. I might have to zoom the camera out. Also, I reset my light, so now it does like regular light colors. Angel of Strength is at the bottom of this one. And then I cut the right deck, and you have 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. And strategy is behind Uriel. And then the Healer of the Ages is behind strategy. So in community, 2141. Oh, wow. So you had 1147. 47 was the thinking woman that came out in reverse. 11 was the cornucopia at the bottom of the deck. And I told you that when I looked up 1147, Google said that it's the angel number of like your angels are letting you know that you're on the right track. Like whatever you need to do, you're doing it. You're getting where you're going. So keep it up. You have 21, 41, and 51, which is a lot of ones in the ones place. For me, one in the ones place, or for me, the ones place is us, and the tens place is spirit and or the environment. So it's like as you are moving, as you're doing things, because the 111, there's a lot of support that's like furthering, like through guides, angels, and then maybe also the environment. I don't know if it's like people that you're going to be meeting or something like that, or community is here, if those relationships are going to be healing or helping you in some way. I think, though, there may be not a shakeup, there may be a change in direction for you. So, because Archangel, which 38 is an 11, Archangel Raphael came out with the fourth chakra in reverse. So it feels like there may have been something that was difficult for you to heal in the heart space is the easiest, but it almost feels like something that may have been difficult for you to understand. And it's almost like because healing couldn't come in this way, Archangel Uriel like came up with a strategy for that healing to come in through another way. Because this is a 38 upright, it's an 83 in reverse. But with it being the 38 or the 83, I guess it doesn't matter. It's almost like the 8 is too fixed, or the 8 was too well established. So there was like this other track that led you to that same healing. And then with the Angel of Strength, number 50, what happened? We have 50 and 51 between the Healer of Ages. Sorry, I accidentally brought up my files. Maybe you're being recoded. I don't know, girl. I just like accidentally clicked on the file explorer. So like all my files popped up. And so, from there, you can like edit, you can delete, you can drag and drop, you can move things around, you can do all kinds of stuff. Maybe two. I don't know if I had the thought and then I lost it. It was almost related to, it's almost like, I don't know if there's something that you have or experienced that you may have forgotten. I don't know if there's like, because sometimes when we have an unpleasant experience, it's almost like that memory or that time in our life, it becomes like black box. It's like it's almost like not a gift, but like we wrap it up and it's almost, I guess it's almost like gift wrapping, but it's not gift wrapping. Maybe it's like you put it in a trash bag and then you like toss it to where like the whatever, and you're like, that's a garbage memory, that's a garbage time in my life. But it's almost like sometimes when we do that, there are other things that can get put in the bag too. And with the 50-51, between the angel of strength and the healer of the ages, it feels like as you are healing, and then the sun is behind the angel of strength. That's the 51. Oh my gosh. And then the angel of love is behind that. So this one, the one of the sun, can add to the angel of strength to give you the 51 of the healer of ages. But then, even before that, the 49 added to the 1. So the sun added to the angel of love gives you this angel of strength. And for that, it reads as like the divine knows you and knows what moves you. And again, like with the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel and strategy, it's like you're not going to miss anything. You haven't missed anything. Anything that you feel that you weren't capable of doing, or if you feel like I didn't do this, so now that's not going to happen or whatever, like that's not the case. The divine is leading you. And again, the 1147 in the beginning is like you are doing everything. And then here's first chakra 35, Archangel Michael. So from the 38 in reverse to the 35, like that's you. It's like how they say energy, it's the path of least resistance. So if something was blocked or stagnated in one area, then the divine will just like take a different path and will have you take a different path to get there. So like just keep going. You got this. And with all of those like 111, all of that movement, all of the initiative that you're showing, all of the things that you are doing, it feels like, because it's the 35 Michael instead of the 38, whatever would have kept you too stationary or whatever would have seemed very comfortable and familiar. It's like you have this, I don't want to say escaped the prison of familiarity, but I guess kind of. Because with all of the things that you are doing, you've been making yourself more and more and more open and receptive to whatever, to the point where you could just like leap at some point. Or it could be happening and you not even realize it. But if that's the case, again, it's all a part of the strategy. The divine has a plan for you. And then there's appreciation in Archangel Michael. So congratulations. You're on the right track. You're doing what you need to be doing. There you go. Gorgeous. 35 and 15. There's a judgment in between those two. A difference of 20. But it feels like the judgment is yours to make, and it feels like you'll make a judgment call. I'm not even going to say better or worse. You'll just make a different one. You'll make a different judgment call than you would have made in the past. And it's in no small part due to everything that you've been doing. Like the divine can always have a plan in place for us, and the way is always there, but it's up to us to actually take it. It's up to us to do the things that we know we should be doing, or to do the things that we're intuitively led and guided to do, even when we don't necessarily want to, even sometimes when we feel forced to. But even in those moments, sometimes when we realize that like we did whatever because we didn't have a choice, we actually did. Because we could have stayed. You could have stayed, but you didn't. And that was like, I don't want to say the first. That was a tremendously incredible act of self-love. To do the daunting, scary thing of leaving familiarity to do what you know you need to do for you. And again, even if you felt like you had to because situations and circumstances, you didn't. You could have stayed. Good on you, Steph. Excuse me. Sometimes things are moving in ways that here it is. I was like, I know I just had that box. Sometimes things move in ways that we don't understand. Or not understand. Sometimes things move in ways that we don't know. It kind of plays into that, like, God works in mysterious ways types of things. But again, it's like as you're doing the things that you are doing, as you're, what was it, 41, 21, 51 over here, you're actually getting towards getting around whatever blockage may have been there. So one day you'll realize it might just hit you. You look around or you look inside and you're like, and I know you've already said that there have been times and moments where you can already tell that, you've healed because of how you approach certain things or because of how you feel in certain areas and aspects. But it just like sort of compounds. Excuse me. Maybe that's that, not vertigo, but maybe that's that loss of equilibrium. Where you think everything is still, but then you feel that there's movement. You're like, whoa. I'm glad that was a good one. It's always nice to do nice readings. You know what I mean? So let's see what these angels is up to. I haven't, like, when I first got these cards, is it Bezaliel or something like that? Will come out, no problem. I love you too. Always wishing the best. More and more continued success. May you get where you're going with a smile on your face and reach the point where you say, what was that place? It was but a strange dream that lasted for much too long. Ooh, let me stop before I get too poetic. Oh my gosh. What's up with the cards falling on the floor today? I used to see dude all the time, and now I never see him. Oh. Well, this card is right here, but I know that there's one that fell on the floor at least. Yeah, I see right there. Brent, Angel of Time. I don't even know how many angels are in this deck. That's fine. If I don't find the angel today, they'll pop up whenever they pop up. Oh. It might have just been those two. So, the Angel of Undoing, Armoros, and Rinth, Angel of Time. Oh my gosh. Not the whoosh. I got it was whoosies before. It's like whooshes now. It's like time is being undone. Is time the veil? Because they talk about how uh, well, time is a dimension. So once you ascend past the whatever, you escape the bounds of time, where everything is simultaneously happening at once or whatever. Okay, I'm not. I've seen The Lord of the Rings once. I've watched the original trilogy question mark one time. I started playing Lego Hobbit, but I haven't seen any of the Hobbits, and I ain't read it because I'm not a reader like that. All right, have fun with the birds. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a great day. Excuse me. I don't know anything about J.R.R. Tolkien's world, but the one thing that I've read on the internet from someone who I assume knows what they're talking about is that whenever, like, I think people went crazy for, like, they were trying to get all the rings because they wanted all of the power, and they had, like, gone here and they had gone there or whatever, and, like, the elves, where the elves live, was like the last place that still was untainted, untouched. the creators of that world. Oh, okay. The creator of that world, it's like the elves, it's like before that, the world was flat and the elves lived on some distant part of it. And to stop the war campaign, I guess, from reaching their homeland, the creators of that world curved the world for everyone except the elves. So now the elves live beyond this curvature that other people can't get to, and it keeps them safe. And then somebody was like, that's why elves have such great vision, because they interact with the world as if it's flat. Their vision isn't affected by the curvature of the world because the world isn't curved for them. But like that curving of the world to keep the elves safe from the advancing war machine, that feels like time. So it's like time was brought in as this thing to whatever, to protect something or to get us to grow or learn or to give us the opportunity to change or evolve or something like that. Maybe it's like there's a sweet spot of lifespans. It's like back in the day, people were living too long, like biblically, like 600 years, like especially with the way we populating planets now. That'd be a lot of people, right? And it's like they already fighting for resources and stuff like this. If people had those lifespans and it was even more people, Earth could not take it. Humanity is learning, growing, maturing. Time is being undone. I guess another undoing of time is like if there are things that take time, then I guess that could kind of work either way. But if there are things that take time, they might start happening a lot quicker and a lot sooner. But it feels like the soil has matured in a way. And maybe that's just the soil is so like nutrient dense that plants just grow like weeds because they have like the plants have everything they need to just like grow, 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 rather than it like slowly accumulating these things and then reaching a growth stage and then accumulating more and more and more. And the deck at the bottom is Chazakiel, Angel of Myths, and Aziraphale is the Angel of Song at the top. Oh, I was going to say how like they both have this fire, which is interesting. See, that was the rebel. The rebel had the torch or whatever that represented like the sun, and then it came out under dreamscapes with the big sun behind the butterfly. Aziraphale, angel of song, the ecstasies above with thy burning measures suit, thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love, with the fervor of thy lute. I finally understand what this means. I would like, I just thought it was like nonsensical poetry. Welcome back. The ecstasies above with thy burning measures suit, the burning. The ecstasies above with thy burning measures suit, thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love, with the fervor of thy lute. So it's almost like as within, so without. So the ecstasies above with thy burning measure. So like with the things that we like really put out suit or match, it matches our grief, our joy, our hate, our love with the fervor for which we like put it out there. So it's like if you're in a good mood and you're like, it's like when you're having a good day that just gets better and better and better because every like the more good you experience just like fuels that fire, and then you're just like this radiating beacon of joy because you're just having that kind of day, and then more stuff comes. Or it's like when you have a bad day and it gets worse and worse and worse. So not only does it match like the, I almost want to say tonality. Yeah, I'll say tonality. Not only does it match tonality and like what we're feeling, it also matches in intensity. Because it's like the more we're feeling it, the more we're playing the lute. I don't even know if this is how you play a lute. I think lutes might be like plucked like little, lutes are like the little harp looking things, right? I don't know anyway. It doesn't matter. It's like it matches tonality and intensity. Tonality and the emotion, intensity in its intensity. And then it returns it. Oh, that is a lute. I was like, wait, is that a sitar? So Aziraphale matches what we play. It's like a duet. This place that is somewhere in the middle, where can I go if I am denied flight? How can I stay if I am denied presence? These questions fill the night air, crowding my wings and obscuring the light. But I know I am not the fog, but I also know that I am. So we have the angel of mists here. It feels like the things that make it across the veil, the with the least amount of disturbance, noise, distortion. With the least amount of distortion are things like emotions and feelings. So Aziraphale can match an emotion and match a feeling a lot better than Aziraphale can match like something that we're saying and not doing, or something that we're doing and not saying. Because it feels like when we say it and do it, when the actions and the thoughts and the words and everything match, they amplify a tone. And in amplifying that tone, it also increases its intensity. It makes it easier to get across the veil, to get across a great distance with less distortion. And maybe that plays into like, why people would be like, you shouldn't like, if you're manifesting something and you say like, I don't want this to happen, all the universe hears is like, I want this to happen. Like the universe doesn't hear the don't. The don't gets dropped across the veil. It gets lost. It gets distorted. It makes me think of like gel electrophoresis or like chromatography, where it's how like, so if you have a paper towel or paper anything and you put it in water, it's going to absorb the water and the water is going to like float up the paper towel. So it's like if you have I don't want whatever, the don't gets dropped. So it's like I don't gets stuck down here. Want whatever. So I want whatever makes it across the veil, but the don't gets dropped. Yeah, the rare gazelle. Yeah, she changed her channel name uh, not too long ago. She's on Instagram at the rare gazelle. I know she was like, I was waiting for like Pisces or Taurus. I was watching. When it comes to Reem, I'm every sign. I'm kidding. Excuse me. There's also the mention. So yeah, I pointed it out. I think fervor is an interesting word. Oh, oh, okay. Now, okay, because you said it, and and then I like reread it, and I was like, okay, yeah, you said that. I just read it wrong. It's funny you mentioned that though, because I was just thinking about that yesterday, maybe about Reem and the Rare Gazelle. The undoing of time. I knew there was. I was like, I'm getting the whooshes. Time is being undone. Welcome to. But is that not? I wonder if that almost plays into the whole like we find ourselves within a certain domain, but we're not denizens of that domain. We're not bound to it. So whenever we want to leave, we can. Or when we realize that we're not bound to that domain, then we're like, oh, so I can just leave. I can just go. I don't have to do what I don't have to earn whatever because like this place has no rulership over me. I didn't die and I didn't eat the fruit. So what's binding me to the underworld? Nothing. How did I even get down here in the first place? Anyway, I don't think so. Excuse me. I wouldn't think so, but then again, I don't know. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't, but I'm not her, so you know what I mean. I hesitate to speak for anybody who isn't me. Um, Sometimes I don't even want to speak for myself. Not the Taco Bell notification. Oh, I kind of want to pull. I don't even know what I would pull. Yeah, like I don't think she would. Whatever. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't, but again, I just don't want to speak for anybody. But I think it would be fine. Like if you're feeling pulled or guided towards it, then go for it. I know, like if I use someone's spread or something, then I'll just be like, I got it from this person. I remember there was a spread I saw on Instagram, and I sent the person a DM, and I was like, hey, like, can I use this? Like, I'll shout you out, of course, and I'll like link to it on your Instagram and everything. But I just want to, make sure you're okay with me using this before I just get on there and be like, here's the spread because I didn't build it. You know what I mean? And she was like, yeah, oh my gosh, thank you for asking, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think it'd be fine. Oh, yeah. If you're on Instagram and you follow her, you could send her a DM. So, like, if you go to her Instagram page, it should say like messenger or something. Not the. Let's see. The rare gazelle. There she is. Yeah. See? You like, if you go to her page, you just click the message. Oh, gosh. The whoosh. The whoosh. I don't even know why I'm wearing these. Honestly, there's no reason why I'm wearing these. Oh, I do hear the fan list though. Anyway, it just like messed up my hair. It's fine. I don't know if I have a deck. I could use the. I don't even think the other angels would necessarily work. I am not. Nope. At least not this YouTube name. I have an Instagram for my other one, but I don't use it anymore. I made it to like, I don't even think 40 full posts or something like that. I was like using it for a minute. Let's see. I don't even follow myself. Yeah, I made it to 40 posts within, I feel like not even that long. And then I just stopped. I've had thoughts of going back to it. I might, anyway, who knows? Oh, so I was talking about the Queen of Cups that was in the water. I think I put the deck back, so I don't even have it to show you. And I was talking about how, like, when she's on this path or that path or whatever path, there's this thing that happens that she doesn't notice because she's wherever she is. But in time, it was like either through celestial alignment or on a timer, there's this door. There's this wall that parts to reveal a door. And maybe like going through that door is to escape the bounds of time. So then those different tributaries, the different pick off points of that body of water, are the different smaller bodies of water that feed into that larger body of water. That would be this energy. Thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love, thy everything. It's almost like frequency is the key to opening the thing, but it's not a singular frequency. I guess it could be. Because who am I, right? But some dude on the internet. Um, but it's not like a single. Take it how it resonates. If for you it is a single frequency, then obviously listen to that. But how I'm getting it is that it's not a singular frequency, because it's like a lot of times you'll see the chart and it'll be like grief is down here and sadness is down here and anger is down here and this is neutral and love and enlightenment and all this, as if it is like uniscalar. And maybe it is, but it's like we're complex creatures and complex beings, and not only is it just like emotion, but it's also word, it's action, it's intention. And the more the intention aligns with the action and the word, the more intense that thing gets. The further it makes it, the more likely it is to get across the veil. And so it's like everyone has their own personal Aziraphale. Or is I mean, angels are magnanimous enough that Aziraphale can play everybody's song probably at the same time, who has ever existed and who will ever exist. But again, angels also exist beyond time. So they're not bound to the same rules of time that we are. Time moves differently in spirit. We know that, right? And it's like when Aziraphale plays the right song, that's when Armoros knows to undo time, to open for that wall to part, and then like we see it and then we step through it, which is a very like long-winded, complicated, I feel like fancy way to say when you align to higher vibrational whatever, you live in the 5D earth instead of the 3D, or you know what I mean. I still want to put one more thing on top of this, but I don't know. I was gonna pull before and after. I think that card in the Dungeons and Dragons. This is why I need to write stuff down. Because I'd be like, I need to do this, or I should do this, or like, oh, I want to pull these, I want to do this spread, and then I don't write it down anywhere, and then I forget. So, excuse me. Hey, Sandra, should I type it? I don't know when you're gonna see this. I'll type it. What's the? I need to find my emoji. I love this emoji. This is my favorite emoji. The smiley face with the hearts floating around it. Oh, Kirsty beat me to it. Kizzy Cat beat me. Yeah, it's guitarish. We see her playing it in her hands. I was like, isn't that a sitar though? But no. Wait. I said I wanted like two angels, right? Because there were two angels at the two little painted angels with golden wings, dressed in blue with the gold trim. And it was interesting because I almost couldn't tell if like they were like skeletons and like skeleton angels or if they were like fleshy angels. I was like, is it like Santa Muerte or not? From a distance, and I didn't get any closer to see. So I guess that's it. I mean, is there anything? I guess I'll give it a few shuffles. I don't know if there's like, I feel like I don't have anything to pull on top. And I mean, I could like pull anything because whatever, I'm a firm believer that whatever we need to see to communicate a message, we'll see it in our own way. Right. So I could use anything. But it's like if I don't have anything that makes it easy, then I'm not necessarily trying to exert myself. Hey, David, how are you doing today? How are you this fine morning? Tuesday? Monday. It's Monday. Who was that? Rahab. Excuse me, Angel of the Deep. Who are you? Embryo, Angel of Gemini. I never see Bezaliel. Bezaliel will come out all the time. I never see does like silent. And when I say all the time, like every single time I used to use this deck, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's like some almost dissolution of the shadow type stuff. Because Bezaliel was like, um, people can't tell the difference between like the angel and his shadow. So it's like you never know if you're actually talking to the angel or if you're just talking to a shadow because they look so similar. And then in one card, like one of them is huge and the other one is small. Nothing's coming out. Which deck did you get? Was it the Angel Larium? Oh snap! It's the trumpet. No, with Gadriel. Oof. We see the trumpet and the Angel of War. Oh, Murder of Crows. Is that is that the one I have, or is that a different? No, I have the Crow Tarot. The Murder of Crows, is that the? Oh yeah, because you said it's dark. That's like the black and white one, right? Excuse Excuse me. I guess there isn't. No more angels. Satariel, angel of deception. Semyaza, angel of pride. I actually read this card before it started. Before I started this, because it was at like the top of the deck or something like that. So it actually references this card references Semyaza, and Semyaza is such an interesting angel because Semyaza is the angel of pride, and I think a lot of times when pride comes up in spaces such as this, we assume it's like ego. But if you mention ego in spaces such as this, you get literally the same reaction. But it's not like being proud, it's having pride. Like there's a difference between being proud and having pride. Being proud is that, like, at least what contextually, connotationally for me, uh, well, it's still kind of like which is which. I'll just read the cards. Because one of them is like, when you have pride in yourself and for your accomplishments, and when you know who you are, and you don't have to diminish, you don't have to play down to make somebody else like comfortable. You don't have to water yourself down or play dumb or whatever. You don't have to make yourself less you. And it's to not make yourself less you, to have pride in yourself. But when you overly inflate your ego to compensate for whatever, then it's like instead of making yourself smaller, you're making yourself larger than you actually are. That's when it's like proud. That's when it becomes egoic. That's when it's like too much. That's when it can be. And this is about not minimizing. This is about not being any less. It's not about trying to make yourself take up as much space as you possibly can. There's a difference. So while Samyaza created the flax of truth, Satariel would spin it into thread and weave it into the very reality around him. He was entrancing. The patterns of his wings would flex and flow with his impersonations, making his performances irresistible to watch. When he was stabbed through the heart, no one had any idea what had really happened. His death was met with applause for its realism. So it mentions Semyaza spinning the flax of truth, and then here's Semyaza. And it's interesting that the angel of pride is what spins that truth, because that's when we know who we are, right? So again, like it kind of makes sense. But it's us knowing the truth of who we are and being that truth. That is the pride of Semyaza. As the angel sang, a single speck of something passed through the light and cast a tiny shadow down on the earth. Beneath the stars, that shadow looked back at the heavens and saw himself for the first time. He gave himself his own name and turned his back on the existence he'd been granted by the universe. One by one, Semyaza called out for his brethren, and they bowed to meet him. He was the giver of names, Lord and King. There was to be none before him and none after. That last part always confused me. It was like, so there's to be no king before him and no king after? Like, what? But I think it's just like there's like Semyaza is the only Semyaza that there ever is. Semyaza is the only Semyaza that there ever was, and Semyaza is the only Semyaza that there ever will be. It's the uniqueness and the truth of his creation. It's not that like nobody else is going to have pride in themselves, or no one else is going to be a king, or nobody else is going to do this or do that. That's him realizing that he is the only him that is and that ever will be, or that has been. I feel like I'm actually understanding these today. Because like even like with the poem of Aziraphale, I was like, what does this mean? And they're like, oh, I get it. See, That single speck. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it. Um, this like I feel like things are starting to make sense. Oh, okay. Oops. I'm kicking stuff now. Um, so the single speck of something passed through the light, cast a tiny shadow down on earth. Beneath the stars, that shadow looked back at the heavens and saw himself for the first time. He gave himself his own name and turned his back on the existence he'd been granted by the universe. This, that's what this is. You won the Angelarium? Did you get it yet? I got a deck. I don't think I've used it on this channel. There's another deck that I have that I didn't know what I would do with, and they play really well together. I don't know the specific context in which I'll use them though. But I love it. So this combination of frequencies that we intensify and exhibit, because that's again like those are the only things that make it across the veil. Everything else is lost to noise, it's lost to disturbances, it's lost to distortion. It's like if the veil is a body of water of infinite depth. It's not infinite. It's like it's not omnidirectionally infinite, but for every direction that we can go in, that we can move in, it's infinite. Like if we exist in three dimensions, well, there are more, but if we can navigate in three dimensions, then in those three dimensions, it's infinite. It's like the sky, how we exist under the sky, but if you keep going up and up and up, you'll go through it, you'll reach the end. But here, the sky is like, well, even if you like exit the sky, then you're in space. If you keep going down, you'll reach the core. Like there isn't an end to those directions, but in another dimension, it's not infinite, it's finite. When it's undone, we'll discover that anyway. But it's like if you like how light is refracted by water, and so like past a certain depth, like how bodies of water can distort images and sound, it's like that. But if it's like a really loud, really clear thing, then even if you get into the water, you can still see it. Which makes me think of the Herteka. When that rune came out in the Lafruma, and it was like from the bottom, like it looks like this ship is passing in front of the sun, but if you're in the water, you can experience multiple eclipses. It could be boats, it could be people, it could be airplanes, it could be a bigger fish, it can be anything when it's above you, right? Like I can eclipse this camera with my pinky by doing this. Does that mean it's an eclipse? Oh, I can't. Okay, there we go. I got to put it long ways. Oh, there's an eclipse. It's like, no, girl, it's my pinky. Like that relative distance, you know, is important. And now it's all wonky. But anyway, that's Semyaza. When Semyaza remembered his name, he emitted a certain set of frequencies that traveled across the veil. Aziraphale played the song because Aziraphale matches, right? The ecstasies above with thy burning measure suit. It matches in intensity. And then that's when like Armoros is like, oh, one of them, like Semyaza knows who he is, and he undoes the bubble of time. Sotario's just here for this is like false pride. There we go. Sotario, Angel of Deception, is a false pride. Semyaza is who Semyaza is. Semyaza doesn't diminish and Semyaza doesn't embellish. But Sotario, Angel of Deception, is all about embellishing and diminishing. but it's almost like Satariel is the caricature, is the satire that is so obscene that like we see the ridiculousness. It's like Satariel is the onion. Anyway, you got up on Bubble of Time. See, Sandra was going through a double time. There you go. That's how you do it. Oh gosh, the whoosh, the whoosh. Is that it? I think that's it. I think I'm done. How much time do I have? I woke up so early. So early. I woke up early another day. I still have like an hour. I was like, how is it only like 5 o'clock? I've been up for hours. It's like because I woke up early today. Oh gosh, the days are gonna seem so long. It's fine. Oh my, I'm tired of these. You woke up late? You woke up late? How early do you be waking up? Because this is still a little early for me. I'm used to getting. No, this is about the time I would be waking up. 10, 11. Azazel, Angel of Sacrifice. Why do these cards keep falling on the floor? Azazel, Angel of Sacrifice. The first Watcher of the North, Azazel taught mankind how to forge weapons and tutored them in respecting this power. Throughout those first years, he never wavered in his dedication to enriching the lives of mankind. In ways large and small, he sought to raise them up. Despite his efforts, Azazel was the first to be blamed when the catastrophe began. With mankind's trust broken, every bit of goodwill he had built was traded for an equal amount of resentment. So, like when they came in and they curved the earth because it was like, oh, look, and then there's Chazakiel, Angel of the Mist. So, yeah, when the veil became a thing, when Armoros was like, no, no, ain't doing this. When time came into the whatever, because in this context, time is the bubble. But again, it's just like it allows for maturation, right? It's almost like if you think about it, with angels being the type of being that is so much based on like a principality or an idea or a concept or a feeling or an emotion or a happening, it's like they're created mature. There isn't, I'm not going to say there, again, I'm just some dude, right? Who am I to speak as if I know what angels are made of and how they're created and what the life cycle and existence of an angel is like? I'm just some dude. But in my little tiny minuscule, probably incorrect, distorted, super distorted by the veil, little 3D insignificant perspective, it would be a different type of maturation, probably, at the very least. But it's like they're created basically perfect. They're created already knowing because it consumes, because it is so much of their being. But we as people are different. We grow into who we become. And a lot of times impacted and affected by the environment that we're raised in, by the mindsets and actions of the people around us. So, like the prison of time, it just gives us the opportunity to mature into, to find out who we are. Because, we're not made off of singular principle. We are duplicitous and multiplicitous in nature and depth and dynamic and polarity and dimension. And we figure it out. We're not just created knowing, you know what I mean? So, like, if you're something like angelic, then yeah, you're created with the knowing. There doesn't need to be this bubble of time because time to an angel is what is time to an angel? Non existent. But for us, it's very much so real and it's very much so needed. It's very much so necessary. You plant a seed in the ground, and over the course of seasons, it grows and matures. We are seeds that are planted that grow. So it's basically that, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but it's like, it's just that realization, like, oh, like, you know, don't put loaded. I mean, never mind. I feel like it's almost ironic. I'll get on here and I'll be like, you wouldn't put a flamethrower. Never mind. It's fine. 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 Just forget it. Anyway, that's time. It gives us the opportunity to mature. So Semyaza can one day look up at the stars and go, that's who I was. Semyaza didn't come out the womb being like, goo goo gaga. You know what I mean? Or maybe Semyaza did. Because, Semyaza just liked it. Hamaliel, angel of Virgo, and Phanuel, angel of truth, in my hands, with Suphlatus, angel of dust. I was shuffling and like Hamaliel did. Well, no, it was like this. It did something where like it hit my palm, and I was like, oh. Anyway, totally wonky. Something is up with like my remote works now. I had to whack it. I whacked it against my hand, and my hand. I think I did it a little too hard, and it kind of stung a little bit for a little bit. But now my remote works, and I don't have to use my phone. And then, so I had two color changing light bulbs. Y'all, I don't. For those of y'all who have been here for like a minute, not like an hour, but those who've been here for a minute, y'all probably remember when I had two color changing light bulbs, and the one in my ceiling fan would like blink through all of the colors like crazy. Like it would go blue, red, blue, 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 red, green, and then white. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I took it out. Anyway, yesterday the light that I had went out, so I was gonna put it back up there. And then I had the light in my lamp. And I was like, I don't really use my iPhone anymore. Ouch. I'm on how can you whack Gmail? That's I you take see that's I feel like that plays into the question. That's what is the nature of something to whack? If you take a baseball bat to Gmail. There you go. Because that makes me think of that Brock using a bag to capture the sound of the wind. When we know the nature of something to the point where it is that regardless of the form that it takes or the form that something else takes. But anyway, um, um, what was I saying? I don't know. Oh, with these lights. So who was that? It's the horn again, but this time the horn was in reverse. Oh snap! Shatiel, the angel of silence. The horn in reverse with the angel of silence at the top of the deck, and then Kakabiel, angel of stars, under that. But it's like it looks like the colors in Kakabiel and Shatiel are so similar, and they both have like these horns. And then there's Saflatus, angel of dust again. When words fail or fall, when words fail, Shatael descends. The wind dies and the earth comes to a rest. In stillness, a new aspect emerges. The touch of an elusive angel. Space around it gains new meaning, held motionless by the grip of its presence. Fear not, it rarely lingers. Oh, snap. Wow. Pinamue, angel of the written word. This is the Pinamue that remembers. Pinamue never showed his face. It was almost certain that a face was present under his silken mask, but what manner of beast or man that lay beneath was a mystery. When there was a death, Pinamue would carve the name of the deceased in a stone that was laid above the grave. He said that this made men more like the angels. At night, he walked amongst the graves carrying a light. He wouldn't say why. Ooh. This like the horn in reverse, because at first the horn was upright and Gadriel, angel of war, was at the top of the deck, but then the horn goes in reverse and the angel of silence is here. Does she silence the horn? Oh gosh, where's Rob? Rob was like, I'm not going anywhere, I'll be on Rob Kenobi. I'm subscribed and ain't a video hit my subscription box yet. Zuriel, angel of Libra. Excuse me. So yeah, the light. So because I reset them, now I get white light. And my camera blurs. There we go. I'm back. Uh, but I switched them from the Apple to Android because Android is my primary phone now. I still have my old iPhone, and I get a hotspot with my new provider. So I like take both phones. I get to save the battery on my one phone as I use the other phone to do like listen to music and internet stuff or whatever. So anyway, but since the Android is my primary, I was like, oh, I'll set it up to that. I couldn't figure out the voice commands. It don't connect to the Google. I think like the box like it's patented 2017 or something like that. I saw 2017 on here somewhere. And I was like, okay, that was a while ago. And then it was like, this was made for a previous version of Android. So I can't control it with my voice anymore. I have to like have my phone, which is fine. I know it's like beyond it's what's like it's a first world problem. But I had the convenience of like I'm laying in bed and I'm just like, hey Siri, turn off the lights. I don't have to find my phone and pick it up and then manually. And then the light that was in my lamp stopped working. I restarted it to try to connect it right to the Google Home or whatever, and it wouldn't. And it was on, and then I think I might have like turned it off or something, and now the light doesn't even come on. If I whack the light, will it work? I guess I could try it. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh snap! Do I have your email address? I feel like I should have your email address. I will. Yeah, I do have your email address because I've emailed you before, or we've emailed before. I remember. I have that memory. I think I have that memory. Right. I'm pretty sure I have that memory, but then I'm like, do I? Anyway. This is so interesting. When words fail, Chatel descends, the wind dies, and the earth comes to a rest. In stillness, a new aspect emerges, the touch of an elusive angel. Space around it gains new meaning, held motionless by the grip of its presence. Fear not, it rarely lingers. I'll leave this with you. The horn in reverse, with the angel of silence upright. And I'm going to put this deck away on that now. We'll just put this at the bottom. Duma, Angel of Dreams at the bottom. Duma is another one that used to come out all the time. Duma rarely makes an appearance, like here and there. But like every time I use this deck, Duma would come out for a hot minute. Every single time. Even when I would use the Oracle of Emanations or whatever, he would pop out sometimes too. I looked into the sky and saw a truth written in quiet motion. The turning wheel rises, and as it falls, it shows us what we've seen. A vision from beyond, no different than a vision from within. I looked into the sky and saw a truth written in quiet motion, in quiet, silent motion, a truth written in the sky with the angel of stars right behind it. And my blurry AF camera, come on. There you go. There you go. Nope, it's fine. For dramatic effects, apparently. Okay, the drama is over. You can unblur the camera. You can unblur the camera. Or not. Fine. Keep doing whatever. Is that Duma again? Yeah. So under the Angel of Dust, Sukloth is the other Duma. Well, you can zoom in now, huh? Anyway, that's interesting. Didn't you, Steph? You said that your friend had a dream about something going on with the sky. It was, I think you said it was purple, maybe, and it was like super vivid. I feel like I'm done here. I feel like I'm done, but I don't want to stop. We'll do an Archeo. Why not? Yeah, why not? This one we'll just take. My eye kept going to it. I'm like, maybe I'll build another spread. So with the way that I originally intended these, which apparently I forgot. If you've been around here, you're probably not unfamiliar with Patrick going, I was going to do this, but I forgot. Followed by, I should really start writing it down, as I literally said maybe like 20 minutes ago, because I forget. The way I originally wanted to do these is that the wild unknown archetypes would define would be sub archetypes under this archetype, and I would use the sub archetypes of the archetype to build a spread. But apparently the lion had something to say, and that just fell to the wayside. You turn me on. Purples, blues, and letters floating. That's what it was. Letters floating in the sky that people were gathered watching. That's what was it? Duma said something written in the sky. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it made me think of you sharing that. All right, Archeo. Give us one Archeo archetype to close this down. Bottom of the deck is the warrior. Who came out? Oh, no. The hypocrite. This is such an interesting combination. The warrior and the hypocrite. Who are you? Oh, Mooncat. Mooncat is under the warrior. I'm gonna read Mooncat. The warrior, because it feels like this is a time of peace. But like whoever this is in a time of peace used to be the warrior. And it feels like someone is calling this person a hypocrite because they are slash used to be the warrior. And it makes me think of like pacifism, but it's a pacifism, and like I guess all pacifism, most pacifism is an act of principle, but it's a pacifist who will fight when needed. So it's almost like if someone's like, I believe in peace and blah 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 whatever, and then someone else comes up and they irritate and they agitate and they poke and they prod and they think they're going to take advantage of the pacifist, and the pacifist like turns into the warrior real quick. And then they're like, oh, I thought you said you were a pacifist. You're such a hypocrite because you are on there, but you're actually this warrior. And it's like, I guess you effed around and found out today, huh? Woo! Who are you? Oh, the poet. There's the poet. Anyway. 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 Who are you trying to reach? Is it Russ? I mean, I just assumed it was Russell. Oh, Rob. Rob. Gotcha. Oh, because you won the Angelarium. And then I was like, did you get it yet? I'm not even here. Anyway. The Warrior and the Hypocrite, that's interesting. I mean, that could not be it, but we'll read it. The Hypocrite came out before. The Hypocrite was at the bottom of the deck when not the Jester, but the other one. No, I was the Jester because it wasn't the Trickster. The Jester came out and the Hypocrite was at the bottom. We'll read it again. Is it H-I or H-Y? It's H-Y. I almost thought I was crazy for spelling it with a Y. I'm like, but it's like, yeah, hypo. Hypo is less. Hyper is more. What's crit? What's CRITE? Is this? I don't. I can't remember if hyper is Greek or if it's Latin. I think it's Greek. I want to go Greek, but I think so. I think it's still up. If that makes sense. You speak Mercury and Pisces? I love my Mercury and Pisces. As much as I don't, I do. What's the reason why a hypocrite is a person who indulges in hypocrisy? I love that it says indulges. What's the etymology? I need the etymology of hypocrite. I could literally type etymology and that would give me the etymology. ETY. There we go. Etymology. It is Greek. Oh, and then Latin. Hypocrinis. It's from the word actor. What? Middle English from Old French via ecclesiastical Latin from Greek actor. That makes sense. The sin of pretending to virtue or goodness from Old French. An imitation of a person's speech and gestures. Acting on the stage, pretense. Acting on the stage, that was Satario, angel of deception. Satario, angel of deception, acting on the stage, and then here's the hypocrite. The reason why it's Satario is because that's the HYPO. Hypo is less, hyper is more. And when Semyaza came out, I was like, it's about being the self, not diminishing and not overinflating either. And so the HYPO got me thinking, like, you know, well, what's the crit part? This is why. Play a part, pretend, also answer. Oh, hypo is under, and then crinine or whatever, to sift and decide. From the root to sieve, thus discriminate, distinguish. The sense evolution in Attic Greek is from separate gradually to answer a fellow actor on stage, to play a part. There we go. That took a whole journey. It originally meant to separate gradually. And then at some point it came to mean to play a part, and now it's the hypocrite, which makes sense. Because it's like playing the part of something, but not actually being that thing. But it meant answer at one point, which is interesting. After to separate gradually, it meant to answer. So to under decide. Middle voice. So the root is to sieve, middle voice is to sift. And to sift is to decide, right? I was sifting through my options and I landed on, I reached a decision. Here is my answer. But the hypo means it's like under. So it's not, maybe it's like not fully committed. It's not it's not like fully decided. Maybe it's still in the process of sifting. Anyway. The hypocrite, whilst professing holiness and transparency, cynically connives and manipulates. Why, then, would we want to have anything to do with such a person? The answer is we all tend to want more from others than we demand from ourselves, which by definition means we are duplicitous. The hypocrite's presence reminds us that we need to keep our two faced tendencies in check. He purports to be a man of piety, but he is politically motivated and his agenda is driven by an obsessive hunger to control. The hypocrite preaches one thing and does another. He uses his office and his influence for personal gain and gratification. He's a cunning puppeteer and master of intrigue. At his worst, he's a coiled snake waiting to strike those who stand in his way. He's a controller of the system, whether it be political or theological, and he knows every rule and obscure law that can be used in his favor. He keeps his agenda well hidden and utilizes he keeps his agenda well hidden and utilizes to strong effect the strategy of divide and conquer. Utilizes it to strong effect the strategy of divide and conquer. Occasionally, he will seem to use his power for the good of others, but only if it advances his nefarious plans. He's ruthless, and it would be advisable to avoid openly crossing him. Oh, well, maybe I got this wrong then. Maybe the hypocrite is the one that's effing around and finding out that somebody is actually a warrior, and then they get challenged, and it's like, oop, 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 somebody effing around and finding out. I was gonna say it makes me think of my old boss, but that's fine. Hey, we ain't gotta go there. I was just telling that to my mom the other day. I said, "What you ain't about to do is try to lie and manipulate me. No, I don't care who you are. If this is how you operate, if this is who you are, then I don't want to work for you, and I will walk out that door gladly. And you can do all this by yourself." Anyway, I'm so glad that that's over. And I'm glad I stuck it out. I toughed it out because now I'm in a much better position. So, anyway. Standing upright and proud in his gold trimmed crimson robes, Cardinal Sforza, excuse me, exhorts his congregation to forego the pleasures of the flesh, to give up their worldly possessions to the church, and to follow without question the edicts of the papacy. After the sermon, he retreats along the secret corridors that lead to the exquisite opulence of his palace, where his young mistress has been instructed to wait for him. Stripping off his heavy gown, he climbs into bed, taking the girl in his arms. He reflects contentedly on the fine rewards that come from being both clever and utterly amoral. This is so. Because, like, it was just all right, come on, focus, or not. Because it was all angels. There have been, like, so many angels. But now it's like the hypocrite. Well, I hope if you want to go back, I hope you get some work that you enjoy too. Me too. I'm ready to go back. It's been like 5 months. I'm ready. Well, who is this warrior? Maybe the hypocrite is all talk. The warrior is action. Let's read the warrior. I'm curious. It's fine. Maybe I should leave it. Let sleeping dogs lie is what they say, right? We'll read the warrior. Oh, now I'm back in focus. Oh, there he was right there. The warrior is your fearless defender and champion who will protect you against those wishing you malice. Let him be your courage, your right arm, and he will not let you down. When he stands before you, you can be confident that no one will bully or intimidate you. He has the strength of a polar bear, the speed of a cheetah, and the reflexes of a cobra. His flesh is impenetrable, and his blade is razor sharp. Look at the blue and gold. I've heard somebody on the internet somewhere say that blue and gold are the colors of Michael. And Archangel Michael is like, I'm the whole gosh darn Archangel Michael. And who we don't see up here, who we don't hear when we're listening to the hearts of the true believers or whatever. Anyway. When you are threatened and flight is impossible, you have two choices: either cower down or summon the warrior to fight for you. Your warrior is both fierce and fearless. He's calm as a samurai, wild as a berserker, and more than a match for anyone or anything that intends you or your kin malice. Dressed in steely armor, he's virtually invincible. And in his company, you are secure in the knowledge that you cannot be intimidated or beaten. He has spent his life developing his craft. Well versed in the art of war, he knows when to retreat and when to attack. As powerful as he does not seek out conflict. Only when there is no option will he unleash his lightning reflexes and devastating strength. Trust him. He will keep you safe and see that no bodily harm will come to you. The horn blew. The horn came out, and Gadriel, Angel of War, was at the top of the deck. Gadriel has an energy that's very similar to this warrior. Because Gadriel doesn't necessarily want to fight either. Gadriel isn't the angel that seeks war. The warrior doesn't seek war. Tyr doesn't seek war. But, you get some gods of war like Mars who love it. They become the god of war because they're always warring. These gods of war are the gods that settle wars. They don't start it, but they'll end it. I feel like if I saw a real angel in its real form, like I don't even know how I would react. It's almost like I don't want to say I would just like instantly die, but it'd be like has your brain ever been so overwhelmed that it just like shuts down? And so you kind of almost have no reaction. It's like a overload of the system, and then it just, and then you're just like, what's happening? Like, what? I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing right now. Oh, I'm dreaming. Like, oh my gosh, this is a dream. I don't remember going to sleep, but isn't that how dreams work? When you're in the dream, you never remember laying down to go to bed. Maybe it'll be like a biblically accurate, not scary angel. You know what I mean? Where's my phone? Here it is. Okay, 11:14. Bop, bop, bop. And just like that, it's time to go. This took me exactly where I needed. I kind of don't want to leave it on this note, but I must be going, so I guess I will. Got to get my day started for everything that I'm on to today. This is such. Let me read the Warrior's Tale. Whoa. Oh, books. The Forgetting Room. I was like, what's the Forgetting Room? Oh. The Warrior's Tale. The woman and her 3 children have been long pursued by 4 horsemen. When they arrive at the narrow bridge that leads to freedom, they find their way barred by a mighty ogre in full armor. Squeezed between 2 deaths, the woman discards her sweet manner for her samurai ancestry. Drawing her bow, she looses an arrow, knowing that her bow and the target are one, and that the missile that passes between them has forever found its mark. When the horsemen arrive, all they find is the bridge's guard with an arrow wedged deep into his helmet's narrow eye slit. I like that because it's the ancestry. I told you somebody was gonna f around and find out. Find out. See that they thought, oh, it's a woman with 3 children. Between these 4 horsemen and the troll girl, she's as good as a goner. The troll found out, and now the 4 horsemen know. It's something that was deep within her. Her ancestry. The thing again, like it's an energy of those who like settle wars, who settle fights but don't start them. You know what I mean? It's like it's a power that it makes me think of tiger energy rather than lion. It makes me think of my interpretation of tiger energy rather than lion. Like Mars is like a lion, right? Like lion strength, where he's like war, war, war. I love it. I feel alive on the battlefield when I'm out there doing my thing. And then you have the Gadriel warrior Tyr, god of war, who like Tyr maybe. Well, Tyr wasn't like warlike in the way that well, I guess even Tyr still, but it's like they when pushed, they settle it. They solve it. It's over. But they don't just go out there and start stuff. Tiger for me anyway. Um, but the thing that's interesting about the ancestry is it makes me think of the last spread that I did, the last spread that I built and that we read, because it was the deified ancestor. I don't even, it starts with the K. No, that was yeah, but it was in the entry for, it wasn't the trickster. Oh, I said I was going to read Mooncat. The Mooncat's driven by curiosity and intuition. If you align yourself to her, you will learn to grow your innate perception. This is Mooncat. Mooncat under the warrior. Invite her into your company, and if the mood takes her, she will show you alternate byways. Follow her padded footsteps and mimic her dancing amber eyes to understand what it is to be free. Her ways are enigmatic and unpredictable, yet far from irrational. Lithe and low, the cat slips soft footedly down the old moon's ribbon pale path. Her pupils expand, widening as the landscape's luminosity grows under a rising gold crescent. Her cousin Phoebe has gifted the cat the freedom to wander wild from dusk to dawn among the rocks and ghosts. The wanderer is under Mooncat. Wandering. Okay. Those who walk the moonlight are unrestricted by convention. They do not suffer obligation and are not constricted by any notion of a contrived formality. Instead, they choose their empire of shadows, where no cold-hearted human god demands servitude. The moon cat patrols all corners of the earth, from the abandoned labyrinths of Lima to the gates of Eden, and from the palace of at Versailles to the catacombs of Alexandria. Revered by the ancients for their independence, their names are inscribed in the libraries of man. From the sharp-witted Pangorban to the mercurial Minalouche, butchered both of those probably. Cats have listened to a different drum, a drum beat that humans can hear only at a great distance. So I love this card. This is about taking an unseen, unfamiliar path. So it doesn't have to fight. It's almost like these are two different ways of approaching the hypocrite. But the warrior only fights when pushed. So it's like, and the wanderer is under the cat, right? So it's like wandering, minding our own business, marching to the beat of our own drum. We keep doing that. Just keep going about the way that you're going. And when pushed, when necessary, know that like you will be protected. You are protected. Even if it's some deep memory coming from within you to have somebody find out because they didn't have to round. let me stop. Um, and I love it said how it's not irrational. It's very like tangential and it's very nonsensical, but it's not irrational. Like with Mooncat, what did it say specific? Her ways are enigmatic and unpredictable, yet far from irrational. That almost feels like oracular. It makes me think of the King and Queen of Swords. How like if it's something that they don't like the King and Queen of Swords will look at Mooncat like, but they would know that Mooncat always somehow makes it through or gets where they're going or is whatever. Like they know that Mooncat's ways work for Mooncat, but they're just like, wait. It almost makes me think of that like turn the other cheek. It's like don't give in to the pressures of temptation. Also, it said Mooncat is no respecter of persons. So the hypocrite can go to Mooncat with all of this and with all of that, and this is my position, and I'm in communion with whoever, and this is what they say. And Mooncat's like, I walk my own, like I walk with the spirits that you speak of speaking to. And no one is so cold hearted and cruel and distant and disinterested that what you're saying and doing would clock any kind of anything. It's like all the hypocrite would be telling Mooncat is that like hypocrite don't really know nothing, but hypocrite knows people. Hypocrite knows how to sell stuff to people. Hypocrite knows how to jump on this or jump on that to get people to buy into it, whatever. But Mooncat is like, yeah, nah, you ain't. I feel like Mooncat would be the one that sends the hypocrite to the warrior. Mooncat is like, oh, you're looking for somebody gullible and weak. Well, go check out the warrior. And then it's the woman with her 3 children running who doesn't want to fight, but who will pick up that bow in a hot second and shoot a arrow through the eye slit of the helmet of the troll. Because it talked about the troll, you know I got to pull before and after the night card. And then I'll end it. But anyway. I didn't even know Mooncat was a thing. I was like, what's Mooncat? You know I got to go looking for Night. Night is at the top of the deck. Turn Night, or Night, turn Dark, enter Troll. But we're going to shuffle it in. Who's at the bottom? Apple Bearer is at the bottom. Anyway, we're going to shuffle it in and we're going to see what's up. And then I'm going to end this because I got to go. I'm trying to think of time. I did a lot of prep work yesterday, though, so one more. I don't think I took a picture of the cards that I pulled. I wish I could remember what I pulled, Kirsty. Fail, number 1. Bottom of the deck is Hooded Unseeing with Hod. Who is the angel of... angel of what? Not angel of blindness. Angel of the unseen. Tamiel. I ain't seen Tamiel in a minute. Well, Tamiel used to come out fairly often. All the angels that used to come out all the time are like... They're like... We said what we had to say. You don't need us anymore. Let us go. Move on to the next thing. I was like, but I thought we were friends. It's like, your time has come and gone, little one. Continue to grow. And I was like, fine, whatever. Oh, of course. Oof. So, East and or East, there's an 11-2, and then there's a number 2. Are outside of the window. Of course. So, Knight is in between Leech and Lagoo. But with the Lagoo being liquid, it's Lagoon Cosmic Ocean. Leech is Leech Emotional Bleed. It feels like around this night troll, it's a bleed that is like gushing. But after the troll is faced, after the troll is taken care of, this bleed right here gets resolved. It gets plugged. So there's something about this troll that plays on... Again, it was like how I first read it with the hypocrite and the warrior. It's like, oh, like you're supposed to be a pacifist, you're supposed to do this. The hypocrite preys on people that it thinks of as vulnerable or weak-minded, weak-willed, or susceptible. Again, the woman with 3 children. When, not to say that women are weak and need protecting, but it's like, the women and children, the most vulnerable, whatever, seemingly most vulnerable until you find out. Woo! Like, what mother? Like, people should be able to look at mothers and know that women aren't weak. Because if you go after their baby, you will see the strength of a woman for that 0.5 seconds before you're dead. Anyway, it's something that plays its part for a time. But when pushed, we do what we need to do. We gather the strength of our ancestors courses through our veins, and then the divine says, they started it. There is no karma on your head. You got to do what you got to do for you and your children to cross this bridge to freedom. You did everything that you could to avoid this. You didn't ask for this. You didn't wish this. You didn't bring this upon yourself, but you will not let this take you out. This is not where you end today. And then you're like, okay. What's wrong with me? I'm sorry. But it's like that, and then the emotional bleed is taken. I can't even keep we'll leave those over there. Then whatever this bleed was, it's over. You walk away healed. You've crossed the bridge to freedom. And it's like it wasn't until provoked. It wasn't until maybe you were forced to, and it wasn't until you had to face this inner troll that you did. It's like if the four horsemen wouldn't have chased the woman to the bridge, she would have never encountered the troll. And maybe if it were anybody else, the troll would have kept trolling and the horsemen would have kept horsemaning. But maybe that needed to end. And so the divine allowed the woman to be chased to take care of the troll, to get the horsemen to wisen up and be like, you can't stop anyone from reaching that freedom. But it was a freedom that she didn't sacrifice. Again, that's why the hypocrite preys on those that it thinks won't put up a fight. But it's like it's been going on for too long. Oop, God, mouth, us. That's us, right? Yeah, us, God, mouth. The divine is like, and then Felissa, for it to flow. Let's go. The divine is like, it's the era, the age of the hypocrite is over. For the one who claims, and that was the warrior again. I know that was the mooncat. That was mooncat. That was like the spirits you claim to be in communion with. I walk with. I talk to. How do you think I know where to step under moonlight? And what I see in them and what I see in you couldn't be more stark in contrast. But go mess with the warrior. Look at him. Whoop. And then it's like, you didn't have to run, you found it out. It's like it's just time for something to end. And everybody gets to learn a lesson, right? The warrior gets to come into that strength and gets to win their freedom. The hypocrite gets to F around and find out that you can't just take advantage of people and now they can actually be kinder and nicer. Maybe they'll actually get to know the people they claim to know. And then the horsemen are like, you know what? Maybe we're in the wrong line of work. I don't know. Anyway. So, um, yeah. I feel like I could have just ended this. I feel like I did so well with not being unnecessarily spicy little chili pepper. I wouldn't call it unnecessary. But I guess if you are a person who, it's like it doesn't make you a hypocrite to defend yourself or to, it doesn't make you a whatever when you whatever, you know what I mean? Especially if it's not something that you're seeking, if it's not something that you're asking for, if it's something that you've tried to avoid, but it's not for you to just let yourself be taken advantage of either. And sometimes you not being taken advantage of is you taking that leap of faith to go on that moonlit pathway out of whatever situation so that you don't have a confrontation. And if that's not the case, if that's not possible, then hey, somebody gonna F around and find out. Just like old girl did. And the irony, the great irony of it is like somebody else said, they was like, well, what's she up to now? She was doing the job that she tried to force on me in a way that was like very manipulative. And then I went to go talk to HR, and the lady was like, oh, like maybe it was a misunderstanding. HR was being all diplomatic and not trying to pick sides or whatever, but it's like by not trying to pick sides in this obviously blatant whatever, like she told me, I'm going to do this. I just need you to carry the bucket because my knee is bad or whatever. I was carrying the bucket for the pregnant girl because her doctor told her that she couldn't lift more than X amount of pounds up and down the stairs. So I was like, okay. I carry the bucket. We get up there. She's like, where do you want to start? And I'm like, I'm just carrying the bucket. It don't matter to me. We can start over there. She's like, all right, we'll go over there and unhook whatever. And I'm like, this isn't what you told me I was going to be doing. If you would have been upfront and honest with me in the beginning, like, hey, I'm going to take you out and I'm going to train you on this, that's one thing. But you telling me, oh, just carry the bucket, just keep doing what you're doing. I was like, no, because what you're not about to do is lie to me. and you're not about to manipulate me. And I don't care if you're my boss. I don't care if you're my supervisor. If this is who you are, I don't want to work for you. And even if I don't have another job right now, the divine will take care of me because it's not going to put me in a position, in a situation where I have to subject myself to this. No. Misunderstanding how when she blatantly lied. But who stayed there to the end and who left? And now she's doing that job. Now that's her job. Anyway. I should have ended it. But it's like, again, like I'm not the type of person who's just like going out doing whatever. But if I'm pushed, like, yeah, because I used to be the type of person that, loved a little brawl. But I've grown, I've matured, I've changed, I've healed. But best believe I don't ask for that. I don't bring it on me. But I'm not going to subject myself to whatever either. And maybe the divine is like, it's time for you to do the same. Maybe she'll be a better boss now. She was just like, in more ways than that, just like the way she would talk about, it's like, it's one thing if you've worked closely with somebody, even then it's not entirely appropriate, but it's one thing like if you and your boss have been together for a hot minute and like you're both like you need some help and they hire somebody and then you're like, we were looking for help and this person ain't necessarily the right fit. But one day, barely knew her, barely knew anybody, just got there. She wasn't close like that with nobody. She just starts talking about one of the employees. Like, I wonder if I made the right hiring decision, or I wonder if I made the right decision when we hired that person. That like rubbed me so much the wrong way. I'm like, wow. But instead of you taking the time to actually train them or sit with them and do whatever, you're just going to stand up here or sit up here and talk about them when you ain't even doing your job right. Okay, anyway. It was just like, it was so much. And then, like, one of my one coworkers, we were in the middle of a staff meeting, like both staffs, like Micro and Kim. And she's like, and I know I'm going to have to fight your one coworker on this, but she's just going to have to do it. And I'm like, even if it was just like me and you, like this is something that's purely our department. Why are you saying this in front of everybody? This ain't got nothing to do with chemistry. And it was other stuff. And I'm just like, oh no. And the way she would like retaliate, and then she started retaliating against me. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised when I'm like, you're not about to lie and try to manipulate me. Like, no. It's like, I don't know who you are or how things work. And because we met with her boss, we met with the big boss. And I was just straight up like, because she was like, I've never had to deal with this. And I was like, this is what's happening. This is what she's doing. If this is what it's like to work here, I don't want to be here and I will leave. And of course, like nobody wants to be in a situation like that. And of course, that was but like after she left, at like literally the clouds parted and the sun came out and the birds were singing and there were rainbows everywhere. And then after she left, you find out a lot of the stuff that she was kind of messing up and doing wrong. But it's like it was just her. And again, like I wouldn't necessarily whatever, but it was just so. And like even with all that, that's when I was really like, ooh, it's I just wanted to like walk out. I just wanted to leave. But it never felt like I was supposed to. And so in the beginning of like last year when I was like, I'm having all these meetings with HR and I'm doing all this and I'm speaking up and I'm using my voice. Cause usually it's like, I don't want this. I'm just gonna dip. I'm out. But it was so and like there was a part of me that could see that she was like overwhelmed and in over her head and like stuff like that. There was a part of me that could sympathize with her. I actually like it took a hot minute for me to reach that point. Even after like she tried to lie and manipulate whatever, we went to HR, we talked it out. I was like, you know what? I can recognize that I didn't handle it the best way. And she's like, well, I'm a person too, and blah 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 blah. I was like, okay, that's fair, that's fine. In the future, we can talk about it. But obviously, something was still wrong with her anyway. It's just like, anyway. Can I trim this? I might just trim it. I might delete this video. I'll unlist it. I don't know. It's I'm not gonna unlist it because the cards literally came out. But it's like it's not for us to be taken advantage of anymore. And I feel like the time, the age, the era of people being like, well, you need me, you need this job, or the ways that people justify the mistreatment of other people, a lot of that has already shifted. That's why in some industries it's so hard for people to hire and maintain work because people aren't putting up with it like they used to, especially for people who had no protections or no whatever. Like when you find out, because I feel like a lot of people knew that employers didn't care about them, but when you find out to this degree, it's like people aren't being blindly loyal to companies and industries anymore just because whatever. They'll leave and they'll find other work. That which holds the hypocrite up is like crumbling. And I guess if the hypocrite commits and doubles down, it commits to and doubles down on its hypocrisy, then it's just going to keep trying to find whoever and whatever until they burn through the entire population and there's nobody left. That warrior spirit will follow and protect any that the hypocrite tries to whatever. And if that's what it takes for the hypocrite to learn, then I guess that's what it takes. Tell Rob I said hi too. I'll probably just text him a bit anyway. I'm gonna be like, Rob Kenobi, where I'm gonna send them a voice note right now. Rob Kenobi, where you at? Unsubscribe to this channel. You said you would be there. You said you would be there, Rob, and you're not. Anyway, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope if the universe puts you in a position to educate somebody, that you have the intuition, discernment, and all that you need to handle it in a way that is fitting and appropriate. And I hope that you will take on the mantle of helping someone grow if that's what they need, grow. If they need to find out because they've been effing around and it's something that they need along their path and growth to get them to reach a realization. Because I think sometimes, too, we all go through things and we all carry baggage, we all carry trauma of some nature. We've all lived life and we all have pasts and histories. And sometimes when we go out into the world, sometimes we steel ourselves in ways to prevent certain things from happening or to whatever. But when it starts to, it's like when a barb that is meant to protect turns into a spike that is used as a weapon. That's like two different things. And since we're in that mode of protection, we might not always see how we are impacting and affecting others, especially those who are innocent, those who don't deserve it, those who whatever. You know what I mean? And that can come in any number of ways. The divine is conscientious enough, wise enough, patient enough, everything enough to get us to see when we're ready to see. Sometimes we're not ready to see, because sometimes taking off the armor means allowing ourselves to be vulnerable again. And depending on the reason why vulnerability is difficult, it may not be a choice that we make. And if vulnerability isn't a choice that you can make, then I hope that you find ways to still yourself and not be steely cold. Or at the very least, I hope you find yourself in an environment where, like, you know that vulnerability isn't going to be used to hurt you or attack you or used against you in any way. I hope you find yourself surrounded by good people. You know what I mean? So where, like, even if you're wearing the armor, like, you don't need it or you don't have to use it constantly, or you're not like, you know what I mean, running into stuff because you're so whatever. Whatever you need, I hope you get. So Rob says hi. Oh, he'll come by where? Oh, on Rob Kenobi. Oh snap! Yeah, because Rob Odinson is gone. I was on YouTube going through my subscriptions on my TV, and it was like Rob Odinson blank. I was like, oh. In the arms of. Anyway, I'll catch you when I catch you. Thank you for being here. Apologies for the chili pepper at the end, but at the same time, I can't. Me apologizing for chili peppering at the end would be, but like that was the whole thing with Semyaza, Angel of Pride. That's why the HYPO in hypocrite under to be less. That was the whole thing. Like Semyaza is not any less of who he is. Semyaza doesn't diminish. Semyaza doesn't water down. But Semyaza also doesn't overly inflate. Semyaza is that perfect balance of being who he is. And it's because Semyaza is who he is that he has that recognition. Truth is the one thing that makes it across the veil with no destruction. Because truth resonates on both sides. Now, there are many veils. So, the greater the truth, the more veils that truth can sort of come across. It was like when I talked about the nine realms. Like, some things are cosmically, universally, multidimensionally true. So, they cut through every veil of separation. Some things are more relatively true. So it's like it may cut through the veil of like who we used to be and who we are now and who we are coming into. It's like using the nine different realms. Some things are true in both Asgard and Vanaheim and Midgard. So if you hold that truth in Midgard, you can contact Asgard, you can contact Vanaheim, but it's not going to necessarily ring true. It's not going to carry across the veil to different realms. Anyway. I'll catch you all later. Bye.